Hey everybody! Today is going to be all about March of the Metronome. So this is a pretty cool piece because we are doing both pizzicato and arco. So that's both plucking and bowing. We're also going to be moving across most of our strings, A, D, and G. So there's a lot going on in this piece, but let's start from the very beginning. So the first thing we see if we're reading left to right is the word allegretto. And that word in itself doesn't mean any specific tempo, but in this case, we're choosing 120 beats per minute. So if you have your pencil, go ahead and draw in a little quarter note above allegretto. Quarter note equals 120. And that way you'll remember what tempo to set your metronome at when you go and play through this piece full speed. So the key signature here, we see we have one sharp, and that's going to be our F sharp. Third finger on the D string. We're also in 4/4 time, or common time, and it just means that we have 4 quarter notes per measure. So in this beginning part, we have 2 full measures of rest, and it's the same for violin, viola, and bass. So none of the strings are playing. But if I remember right, there's going to be a wood block playing on each beat for those 2 measures. And that kind of is going to sound like a metronome. And then we're the first ones to come in. And we're very soft, actually. If you see, there's a little P underneath the first note we have, and that means piano, right? So we're going to be very soft. So we're starting pizzicato, and to make it even softer than normal, we can come up away from the bridge a little bit for our pizzicato. Because you know the rule. The closer we get to the bridge, the louder we are. So go ahead and come away from the bridge a little bit as we get ready to come in piano with our pizzicato. And what we're going to be doing in the beginning here is just alternating from open G to open D. And you can see as I move string to string, it's all in the elbow, none in the wrist, right? We're not using our wrist to change strings. It's all in the elbow. Go ahead, write in whatever fingerings you need, by the way. There's nothing wrong with putting in fingerings. It's just there to make it easier on us. Let's see, this is letter B, rehearsal letter B. And you can see that it has an MP written underneath our first note. And that means mezzo piano. So now we are one dynamic level higher. We're still in the piano range, right? We're still kind of in a piano range, but it's a little more. So we can be a little louder, meaning we can pull a little more in our pizzicato using more force. We can also move closer to the bridge like we talked about earlier. So we're just a little louder. And that may be because here at letter B, the whole orchestra is in now. Everyone's in. So we have to be a little louder to be able to be heard, right? So we're just a little notch higher. And the pattern here, we are moving across all 3 of these top strings. If you see at letter B, we have open G, open D, and then first finger B. And so on. So now we're really using our elbow on our string crossings, right? Let's jump ahead to letter C. This is the tricky part. This is where we're transitioning between pizzicato and arco. And what makes it tough is that we only have 1 beat of rest to transition. So if we look at that measure right before C, we have open G, open D, open G, then 1 rest to get our bow set by the frog. So very slowly it's going to look like this. Nice bow hold, set, and go. So you can practice this transition as slowly as you need to, then speed it up. What's new at letter C is, of course, we're arco, but we're also forte. So we're at the other end of the dynamic spectrum, right? We're very loud. And you know why? Is because we are the soloists at this point. We're using our bow, we have the melody, and it sounds like this. This is letter C. to do a very quick bow lift back to the frog because we're starting the next measure down bow at letter D. So we have to make that bow lift very quick. Once again, 1, 2, 3, bow lift. So it's a very quick little rainbow back to the frog. And you can practice this very slowly. Lift, set. Lift, set. Lift, set. And practice that motion. And here at letter D, we have the same pattern we had at the beginning of the song. We have our G to the D to the G to the D, but now we're forte still. We're using our bow. It's a different character. And again, like we did with the pizzicato, it's all in the elbow. So when we're going G to D, you can see none of it is my wrist, right? We don't want to flick the wrist. We want to be using our elbow for those bow changes. So this pattern goes along, goes along. When the pattern breaks, we need to be prepared for that. We need to write in the fingering just to make extra sure that we won't miss it. So this is going to be 5 measures after letter D. So go ahead and find that in your music. This is 5 measures after letter D. You can see that we have an A there. That's the first finger on the G string, right? First finger A. So what I want you to do is, once again, take out your pencil and go ahead and write the number 1 underneath there. Cool, now we're at letter E. And here we have another 2 full bars of rest, right? We're waiting. So we're waiting here. And then we're coming in with some more arco. So we're not back to pizzicato yet. So get your bow ready and set by the frog. This is 3 measures after letter E, right? We are still forte, we're strong, we're bowing, using lots of bow. And once again, we kind of have the melody. So let me play this so you know how it sounds. So this is again 3 measures after letter E. 1, 2, 3, 4. Trickiest part of all, in my opinion. This is where we transition back to pizzicato. But we're way out here at the tip, right? So we have to move from all the way out here at the tip into the pizzicato formation over here. So we only have, once again, 1 beat to do this, right? So this is very tough. So what I want you to do is practice this with me, is you're going to set your bow by the tip. And as you move your right hand into the pizzicato formation, as you move back, it's going to go into your fist once again, right? And that way you have your mini claw ready, your thumb and your index finger. You're going to set your thumb and then set your index finger and pluck. Let's try that again at the tip. Now as we move our hand, it goes into the fist, thumb, index finger, pluck. Fist, thumb, index finger, pluck. So go ahead and practice this. If we put it into motion, I'm going to play that last measure before letter F and then the downbeat of letter F. So here I go. Measure before letter F. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, lift. So it's pretty quick. Go ahead and practice that on your own, as slowly as you need to, and then ramp it up. So here, at letter F, another thing I want to note is actually, we're back to mezzo piano, so we're actually very soft here. We can be doing the pizzicato a little higher up on the string. So we're no longer forte, we're kind of in the background now in a supporting role, so we're softer, doing our pizzicato. G to D once again. As we near the end, you can see there's a huge crescendo for the last few bars of the song. We have a huge crescendo, and then the last 2 notes of this piece are accented and forte. So they're going to sound like this. So very loud, very accented, and you're going to let it ring out because that's the beauty of the piece. Once you're done, it's not over. You have all the vibrations and the pretty end of all your notes ringing out. So let's go over the ending a little bit because there's actually a really cool pattern in there for our left hand as well. For example, I think this is 4 measures from the end. If you can look at that, 4 measures from the end, we have our open G, first finger G, third finger on G, back to 1, back to G. So we have this kind of cool line on the G string, up and back down. And it's during this crescendo at the very end, so really bring that part out. And as we near the end, we're very loud. Last 2 notes are accented, bum, bum. And we have to let that ring out. It's a very beautiful ending. So thank you for making it all the way through this video to the end. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one where we run straight through this song, top to bottom at full speed. So have fun with this. I'll see you soon.